Hello, I'm Jenna, and this is Jill.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, who are you?
Jill's over there. So let me introduce myself. My name is Evan. And this is my sign name.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a special guest today, and this is ASL Stu. Okay, so we've talked about your gender. So why don't we talk about your sexuality and what that journey was and realizing what matched your identity?
I would say with my sexuality, I'm going to try to be very concise about it, but it's a really complicated process. With gender, I think it's a little bit more clear considering what roles there are, but with sexuality, that's a very kind of abstract and it's taboo in some ways. Even now, it's still taboo to talk about, you know. And it kind of depends on the culture you grew up in as well. Like I said, I grew up in a very feminine culture, and I really had to unpack that first. When I was younger, when I was a child, I attended school, and I was about 7 at that time. And I remember there was one girl that I liked. And, I figured, well, I'm a girl and she's a girl, so I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. You know, I always saw other little girls would, sit together, but I felt something was different, and I didn't really want to do that. And then when I was about 10, another kid told me a story about someone being gay. And I thought, oh, well, I hadn't really read much about it until I finally got a book and read more and more and more about it. And then I remember I told my mom, like, hey, what does gay mean? And, she explained that if there's a man and a man together or a woman with another woman, I was like, oh, okay. And it kind of confused me because I attended church, and in church they always explain that man with a man or woman with a woman was bad. It was forbidden. You would go to hell. It's a sin. So I was kind of getting conflicting things. My mom told me, obviously you follow what church says, but I was really confused. So I kind of wanted to ask more questions, but I didn't really feel comfortable at home doing that. So I kind of just kept my mouth shut and kind of thought about it as I observed. And then when I was a teenager, there was one or two boys that I liked. And, those boys were deaf, so we dated. And, it's kind of what you call a beard. That's what you would call what those boys were. And then I attended college, and I was thinking about coming out, but I just didn't really have the support yet. And then it wasn't until I was working on my master's degree, the TV show ER, there was a lesbian character on there, and she was out and was just herself. And then I started noticing other lesbian queer people, and I thought, well, I like women, so maybe, I'm a lesbian, but I just kind of have a male identity. But I kind of like some guys too, and I know there's some, people that are queer and gay, but I don't know, I wasn't really sure where I fit in at that point. And then I started, looking online concerning gay and lesbian information. And I kind of kept an eye out to make sure nobody was watching me, because I'm in the library. And of course, you have to be really careful with being in the library. And of course, if somebody walked by, I'd, close my screen and then I'd pull it back up. And I was starting to find where different deaf girls would go. I didn't really go. I wasn't ready to meet anyone yet. But I know there's a very small deaf community, and I was concerned about gossip at that point. So I kind of wanted to just take it real slow. But really, hearing people were the ones that introduced me to the deaf queer people. So anyways, in Rochester, back during that time, which was about 2000 to about 2004, within that period, they told me, there's specific rules you have to follow. If you like one woman who's a lesbian, you have to follow this rule. If you're bi, you follow this rule. If you're gay, you follow, these rules. But there's nothing about trans. So I was like, okay, I guess, I have to follow these specific rules. And then once I was teaching at the deaf school, after that, I moved up here to Toronto. And at that time, I was just doing research for my PhD. Oh, and also when I came here, the online community here, the queer community, has a different meaning in Canada than it does in America. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, it's different.
What is the difference?
Well, maybe it's changed now in America. I haven't lived there in about 9 years, but here in Canada, when I moved here, queer just meant being inclusive of everyone. So, meaning it included LGBT and T, and also any sort of, like leathers or any other groups like that, SM, BDM, those type of things. And all of that was included. Also, pansexual, poly, pretty much everything. They were very open and all inclusive in one, and that was all considered to be queer. So I really liked that because, it gave me a different language that I could use and different identities that I could take on. So for me, I would say, growing up, I was female, but I had a male identity. I had the feelings of a male. I liked women, but then I liked men. And I would say that, if it was women with women, meaning I was a lesbian, but that's not always how I felt because then there's also I liked men and I liked women, so I guess that meant I was just queer. But since I liked men too, that didn't mean that I was gay because I liked women. So if I'm gay because I identify as a male, no, because then I like women, so there's that. So sexuality is really complicated in that sense.
Yeah, it's a very layered thing, and obviously it changes over time. And, I would say it's more fluid.
Yes, yeah, sort of. I would say it is fluid. For me and my identity, really, I had a strong identity on there, but some people use the word like andro, or I think the other one is gender neutral. There's a few words that could be used, but like I said, I had a strong male identity, but there was some female identity in me as well. I wasn't fully 100% male identity. And I'd say maybe more non binary. I guess that'd be considered the gender. But then relating to other people, I have the non binary gender, but then I like, men and I like women and trans and queer and other non binary people as well. So that's kind of how I felt myself. So I would say, I had more attraction to feminine females. I really was more attracted to that style, and I still am.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily a word for that. I have the male identity within me, a very strong male identity with some femininity, but also people who are feminine is who I'm attracted to. I mean, I do have a feminine side within that personality, but maybe that's why I'm attracted to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and with identity, who knows? Maybe they'll have new words in the future.
Well, maybe you could go ahead and make something up.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be really cool. I really want to see more signs, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There needs to be a lot more development of signs for sure. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, I know there's probably some deaf transgender people in our audience, so maybe you could give them some tips or advice based on your experience.
Sure. I would say be yourself. Know who you are. There's no right or wrong. So there's going to be a process, and it's your own process. Unique. That's a sign for unique here in Canada. So be unique. Be yourself. Don't compare yourselves to other people. A lot of times that'll just cause self-doubt. So just be who you are. Like, for example, with myself, I came out as trans or as queer, and that was much later on in my life. And I see younger people going through such a hard time right now. And I guess I just wish that, I could have made that decision, for myself and for my body earlier and gotten it over with. But you know what? It's okay. You just want to be gentle with yourself. Accept yourself. It's not going to be easy. But, talk to your friends. Try and get support, where you can, a good network going. And try to have a balance, online and in person. Just having online sometimes with technology, it causes some misunderstandings or there's limitations, but it's good to talk in person too. Have that contact as well. So both is really important. And I would also say, language changes all the time. If your identity is not quite stable with one word, maybe try and use that word for now, But you don't have to force yourself to use a specific word. If it doesn't really match who you are, that's fine. For example, when I came out as lesbian, I was like, I don't really feel it matches who I am. But I was kind of forced at the time to say I'm lesbian. But I should have. Now at least I can say, well, no, lesbian doesn't really match me. So be strong about that and be yourself. Don't force yourself to use any labels that don't fit who you are. If there is no word, no label for that, maybe you can find something kind of close and use that, but say, it's not a full match of who I am right now. It's just a temporary thing, and that's perfectly fine. My process with the whole English pronoun system when I came out as trans just didn't work. I came out as genderqueer first and then transgender later. And at first, I felt like the English language was just trying to, didn't really work with my deaf identity. So I don't know, like with interviews, I don't use pronouns, and a lot of times that's very awkward, but still be who you are. And it's going to take time, but you can still be yourself throughout the process and just take it slow. Don't go too fast. Everybody has their own pace, their own internal clock, and not everybody's is the same. So take your time. And understand that we live in a world where, we have to go between English and sign language, unfortunately. So think about your identity within ASL and English as well. You have to decide for yourself which is right.
Well, thank you so much for all of your experience and knowledge, advice.
Oh, I have one more thing.
One more? Sure, go ahead.
The last thing I wanted to say was with technology, more and more, there's a lot more vlogs with sign language talking about transgender, LGBT, queer, asexuality, all of these different things, which is great. But I would suggest check, who they're from. If they're from deaf people, understand sometimes deaf people learn that information from hearing people who may not have a full understanding, which then influences the deaf person's information, which might have some holes or not have the whole explanation in there. So just double check and do your research and don't assume. Watch the vlog and don't just think, oh, everything is correct 100%. Definitely do your research beforehand. Well, the reason why, for example, is maybe it applies the same to what I was talking about before, but within the queer community, with the hearing community, let's say, you're lesbian, and I didn't feel that was right, and I feel like I'm trying to follow one group, but in the vlogs, maybe that's not how it's supposed to be. They can't make a decision for all people. So definitely look around and think about it, whether it's from Austin Unbound or Draco or Alex. That's what I did is I got different information, a lot of different perspectives, and I feel that's better to make a decision for yourself, making an informed decision about your identity.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your experience. That was a real wealth of information, and also just getting your advice is so important to share with our audience. Thank you so much for joining me and doing this vlog. Thank you. Okay, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you liked the video, click like down there, and if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Please subscribe. And if you want to provide support for our channel in any way, you can take a look down at our Patreon page, which is linked down below, or you can do a one-time donation through Ko-fi. You can take a look and provide support in any way. We really appreciate it. Thank you for watching.